Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Wealth Wisdom on this Monday night here in Los Angeles. Wherever you're dialing in from, ladies and gentlemen, please send us a message on Facebook or on Zoom. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you want Spanish translation or Thai translation, please go to Zoom ID 166-778-278 at 166-778-278 for Spanish translation, for Thai translation, and obviously you will hear English as well. But hey, on Facebook, I always like to see who's first. First today we have Justine. Justine, I'm so glad you're first. Haven't been you first for a while. I'm glad you're back on top. We got Dr. Raymond III on. He is San Diego. We got Jeffrey from Dallas, Texas, that's on. We got Mario from San Diego, that's on. And also, who do we have here on Facebook Live? In Zoom? Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm thinking that I don't know, my voice is coming through okay. Gary, can you hear me okay? It's kind of breaking up a little bit.
Yours is breaking up a little bit on yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Well, you sound great, Gary. They're here for you rather than me. So let me try to fix my audio. Hopefully we'll get that done. But for everybody that is on right now, I'm going to turn it over. Now they say that is good. Am I sounding good now, Gary? I guess the internet just needed to hear your voice, Gary, and everything got fixed up. But ladies and gentlemen, obviously we are going through a world epidemic right now. I think everybody's online, everybody's home, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about about that on our Monday update call in 1 hour. But as you know, as we are growing here, every single Monday, we're going to get some amazing training at 6 p.m. Los Angeles time, followed by 7 p.m. is going to be our update call, followed by our training. Today, we're the chairman of the company, Nattida Chong, at 7 p.m. coming on to talk to you and help train you and help you build your business. But I'm sad that I don't get to see Gary every single week I used to. Now that he's on maybe once a month, we got to take the moment. Hopefully he'll give us more than the regular sessions because he's going to give us super sessions once a month. So Gary, obviously I could have taken that. I don't know how the coronavirus has affected our space or your space. If once I turn it over to you, you can speak a little bit to that as we get into the training today. For all our guests today, what I'm excited to say is that we're partnered here with MTI, and they are, in my opinion, the Rolls Royce of Forex education and technology. They've trained over 1 million traders. If you've been in network marketing before, if you have been in Forex education before, find an MLM company that has over 1 million customers and find one that is in the space of Forex education. You won't find one. Well, now you have. MTI, through our Smart Market Academy product, has the backing of a 26-year-old company, over 1 million traders, and they have a statement that says that the students, through SMAs, 2 times more likely to profit in the Forex, which obviously, guys, if you want to learn Forex, do you want to be the norm or you want to get double advantage? Well, you are here at the right place. And for our guest today who's coming here for the first time, who I'm introducing to right now, his name is Gary Fichardt. He is the director of trading at MTI. MTI is our partner, and he's been in Forex now for a very long time. He looks like he's in his 20s or 30s. I don't want to say exactly how old he is, but he's been in this experience in this field over 30 years, helped manage a trading floor, helped manage millions and millions of dollars. So, you know what? His experience in this industry is in the industry of Forex education and Forex is phenomenal. And ByDzyne, with the new era of network marketing. We got the new way of network marketing. Instead of ByDzyne saying, hey, we got the best Forex product, and our product is as old as our company, we're not doing that. We want to partner with the best of the best out there. We're a platform. We are a vehicle, and we're partnered with many companies, many individuals in different verticals, so we can bring the best of the best to you. And I'm excited because as we come up every single Monday, you're gonna meet our other vendors who are elite in their space. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because there's about 2 new vendors that we're gonna bring on Monday in very different verticals. But you know why I love SMA, Smart Market Academy, why I love our partnership with MTI is because at the end of the day, if you could put more money in the account, you're gonna say yes, or you're gonna say yes. You're gonna say yes. And what we are bringing here through Smart Market Academy is to increase your financial IQ, because I always tell people, rich people know something I don't know, right? Imagine if Bill Gates gave you the phone call and said, hey, I'm gonna start a company called Microsoft, let's partner up together. I didn't get that phone call. Well, today, you got a phone call about learning about a product called Smart Market Academy. You did receive that phone call, and now it's your time to listen to Gary Fichardt, who's the director of trading. He's helped multiple people, thousands of people win in the financial space of Forex. And that being said, it's my pleasure right now as the owner of ByDzyne to turn it over to our partner and the director of trading at MTI, Mr. Gary Fichardt. Over to you, my friend.
All right, thank you, Chad. I do appreciate, and it's certainly been a huge ride in the Forex market over the last few months, because it's not only do we have the issue around the coronavirus, but we also have the issue around U.S. oil. And the discussion tonight is going to be all about the U.S. oil, about what opportunities there are for us to be able to trade U.S. oil in different currency pairs. All right, because remember something, U.S. oil is being affected by, or this U.S. oil is affecting currency pairs like what we call the loonie, which is the Canadian dollar. And you'll notice that if you haven't already paid attention to the markets, or you haven't really noticed, but U.S. oil and the Canadian dollar tend to follow in the same direction, which means if we have a strong rally in U.S. oil, then the Canadian dollar is going to follow suit. We can see some strength in the Canadian dollar. And the same thing applies to a bearish move on U.S. oil. As soon as U.S. oil starts going bearish, we start seeing the Canadian dollar starting to lose ground. Now, when you see that correlation between U.S. oil and the Canadian dollar, you know that there is definitely going to be opportunity when you look at the charts and start looking at the technical setups for opportunity. Now, we've spoken in the past about using different types of tools to identify trading opportunity. And the one tool that we use a lot is the harmonic patterns. And when you see a harmonic pattern appearing, you know that it's time to either go ahead and start buying or selling depending on the directional bias. Now, for someone that doesn't know anything about trading, and this is the first time you've come and joined the session, first you go ahead and welcome everyone here. If this is the first time, welcome for your first time here as well. So I want to try and keep it as simple as possible. I don't want to get into very high level stuff, and I want to try and keep it to very simple layman terms when we look at the markets. And I want everyone to be able to understand exactly what I'm looking for and why I'm talking about these opportunities. So a little history about the relationship, a special relationship between U.S. oil and the Canadian dollar. And the correlation between that is, and like I said, some of you might be familiar with the special relationship between U.S. oil and the Canadian dollar. And for those that aren't, this is what you're missing out on, right? There are reasons why the Canadian dollar trades or traders keep an eye on U.S. oil pricing. And there are two often the two often go in hand in hand. When oil price, like I said, goes up, we start seeing the Canadian dollar go up. When U.S. oil goes down, we start seeing the Canadian dollar go down. And why these two share such a strong bond is because the Canadian's economy is strongly built around US oil. It's one of their biggest exports, right? In fact, the Canadians actually do about 2 million barrels a day, and or at least supply the US around about 2 million barrels a day. Now, you can understand that if the price of oil drops down to a certain level, the Canadians can only produce at a certain price, which means that, and the price, it may have changed a little bit, but it used to be anywhere between $60 to $62 a barrel. When US oil price drops below 60 to $62 a barrel, what happens is it becomes too expensive for the Canadians to produce oil. And so when that happens, that obviously puts a lot of pressure on the Canadian, at least the Canadian dollar, and this is the reason why you start seeing a fall. When US oil starts rallying, especially when it's over the $62 mark, then the Canadians get very excited. The Canadian dollar starts also rallying and rallying quite sharply above that level. So when we see these type of things happening, we know there's going to be some action in the market, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the technicals. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you a chart. And the chart is going to be, let me see if I can get it right here. Yep, that's there. The chart's going to be a charting software we use to analyze the market, all right? And this charting software is called SmartTrader.com. All right, now SmartTrader is a software that we use to do technical analysis so we can identify what's going on. But also, the software also provides us with these tools, as I just mentioned early on, and they're called Harmonic Patterns. Harmonic Patterns is a very well-known tool tool to use in identifying market changes, market continuation in trend, or in fact reversals, big reversal patterns that we could be identifying as well. But the most important thing is, listen here, I don't want to sugarcoat anything, and I want to be as real as possible, right? You cannot simply just use one tool and expect to be this expert trader. All right, you have to know a little more about trading in order to be able to trade successfully. Using one tool and the tools we provide you, using one tools that we provide you doesn't make you, it's not going to make you a successful trader. But what it does provide you is the tools to lead yourself in the right direction to become a successful trader. It supports you as a trader to identify trading opportunities that can help you look for the highest probability, all right? Now, although these tools we provide you create this high probability opportunity for you, you still have to have a little bit of education about what the markets are and how they work, all right? And so in the program, in the relationship that we have with ByDzyne, we provide a lot of education that's going to help you not only be able to have access to these fantastic tools like the harmonic scanner, which identifies these patterns in the market, but that are tradable, but also to be able to help you understand why these patterns are there and which patterns are best to go ahead and trade. Listen here, you can go ahead and I'm just being real right now. You take you can take a big bowl of apples, right? And you take these big bowls of the big bowl of apples, and you go ahead and go through the bowl of apples, and you're going to find one of them that's going to be what we call a bad apple, right? There's no other term for it, right? Bad apple. And so as you go through this bowl, just like we go in the Forex market, when you've got all these patterns appearing, all these patterns that you've seen right here are called harmonic patterns. And as you go through all these harmonic patterns that appear on the chart, guess what? All right, guess what? These patterns are great, but not all of them are going to work out. You're going to find a bad apple in one of these patterns, all right? And so why we educate you on how the market moves and how the market trades is because you've got to know how all these things work together, all right? You've got to know how the software works. You've got to know how to put in buy orders and sell orders. You have to know all that stuff in order to be able to be a successful trader, all right? So being a successful trader doesn't necessarily mean you've got one fantastic tool and that's it. That's all you need. Being a successful or a successful trader means that you have everything that you need in order to be successful. And what is that? Education. You need good education. You need to know about the market. You need to have the right tools. Listen here, you can have the best education with horrible tools, and you are not going to be successful. You've got to have the right tools. And I know that for a fact, because when I first started trading, everything was based on print the screen out. Now, hear me out now. First, we had to do a dial up. Dial up, then go ahead and print the screen out, switch off the dial off so you don't get charged for extra costs, switch the dial off, the dial up off, and then go, or at least disconnect, and then go ahead and take this print out that you printed out, right, of the chart, and go ahead and start drawing in manually with a pencil. Draw out exactly how you want to go ahead and trade this plan. And that's how we did. We had all these tools that would sell it. You know, you could buy this and they would ship it off to you, and you could buy all these different tools that you can use to be able to, you know, do your analysis on this piece of printed paper. All right. Obviously, technology has evolved since then, and thank God it has, because if that's how we were still going to be trading today, I would have probably given up that job a long time ago. All right. So with the technology today, we have to embrace the tools we've got. But I want to say this once again, and I think I want to emphasize on this, right? Having just these tools and not knowing how to use them properly is also very dangerous, right? You want to be able to know how to use these tools and know how to use them very, very well. And so here with the partnership that we have with ByDzyne is we offer you the charted software that has play money. Do you know what play money is? All right. Play money is that you get to spend other people's money. All right. Isn't that fantastic? My wife loves it. Every single day she goes to the shop and runs my credit card. She just loves it. It's like play money to her. The only person that's really paying for that bill is me. All right. I'm kidding. I love my wife a lot. All right. But the deal is this. The demo account is play money. It's fantastic because you get to spend someone else's money without the consequences, right? You don't have any responsibility when it comes to that play money. But the big purpose of having this play money is so that you can go ahead and test the software out. Do everything, break it if you have to, but do everything to learn everything about the software, all about the tools, learn about order executions and equity management, all that good stuff. Everything that you need to be educated before you go ahead and actually fly this plane, all right? Because trust me, if you had very little education, would you go ahead and climb in a plane and go ahead and try to fly this plane, take off, or at least try to take off, and then go off in the sunset? I don't think anyone would want to do that, right? You wouldn't risk your life not knowing anything about how to control everything, how to be able to maneuver everything, how to understand how to take off and land, especially the landing part. You got to get that right? But the thing is this, trading is no different, all right? We're flying a plane here, all right? We're not risking our lives, but we're risking our livelihood. This is our money that hard-earned money that we've got that we have to protect, right? And so the one rule that I always say, all right, always protect your capital. And then, oh, sorry, I've got two rules. My bad. I've actually two rules. The first rule is protect your capital. The second rule is don't forget rule number one, right? So it's all about capital protection. And so how we do that is we get to the demo, the play money, and we practice and we do everything on the play money. So we figure things out before we put live money into it. Because if you don't do that, there are going to be regrets. And we want to live life with no regrets, right? No regrets. So the exercise tonight, or at least not the exercise, but the conversation tonight, which is going to be a lot more interesting, is about US oil. What is US oil doing, and what's happened to US oil that's created this big move in the market? Well, if you don't know, there was talks around OPEC, right? They had all the big leaders come around discussing around pricing around US oil, around oil, and there was a disagreement between Russia and the Middle East. And so right now, the middle is saying, well, we're going to go ahead and actually eat up market share. And what they're going to do is they're going to push price as low as they possibly can. They want to go ahead and push it down to $25 a barrel, all right? And so they said they want to go down to 30, 25. So there's this price war. It's a price war on US oil. And since this has happened, you can see we've had this big fall. I'm going to go ahead and show you a daily chart right here. And this is the one right here. And this chart right here, just for those that don't understand, this chart is the daily time frame. And so every candle you're seeing here, and these are Japanese candles, this red and green bars you're seeing here, they're called Japanese candlesticks, all right? And every time you see one of these bars taking place or one of these candles taking place, it represents one full day of trading. And the market either goes to a high of trading, a high for the day, or a low of the day, and then ends up closing out for that day, which completes this candle. So you have the opening, the high and the low of that candle, and then the closing price, all right? In fact, if I go ahead and put my mouse on this, you can see here, it actually goes ahead and shows me right here what the open and close, high and low is on this right here, all right? So we can see here, this is the low of the price, there's the opening of the price, and then we have the closing and, of course, the high. So we have all of that information here on the chart. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the price, what is price done over time, it's gone ahead in the last, since around about, let's go ahead and find the date here. So around about the 19th of February, this is where things started looking terrible for US oil, right? Started heading south. But eventually the market moved up, rallied up, and then we had that weekend. This is called a weekend gap. What is a weekend gap? All right, for those that don't know, and I'm going to just go ahead and see if I can get my writing tool back up here again. But a weekend gap means this. It means that price, all right, price closed on Friday, all right? It closed on Friday. And then on Sunday open, when the brokers opened up the platform again for trading business, all right, the price was down here. So this was what we called the weekend gap, because that's what happened. Over the weekend, it was decided, Middle East decided that's it. There's a price war taking place between Russia and Middle East, and they decided that they're going to start pushing price lower. And they're just going to supply the market with as much oil as possible and push pricing down, which they did. And price jumped from this level right here, you can see around about $40 a barrel, or these $41 a barrel, all the way down here to 30. It dropped actually to a low of $27.33 a barrel. That's huge. That's a big jump. Now, how we look at this is this. We were analyzing the market, and what we did is we actually drew some lines across the lows right here. And we said that US oil is probably going to hold off right here. All right? It's probably going to hold off here. We're going to see US oil pushing back up north. And we're expected that. All right? We're expected price to start working its way back up north. And so what happened over the weekend when we had the weekend gap, everyone was thinking, okay, well, they'll figure things out, right? They always do. They'll figure things out. And when they do figure things out, price is probably going to go ahead and work its way up from $42 a barrel and start going higher. But what happened? Had the price war over the weekend gap, and the market dropped back down here, right? So what does this mean for us? This is starting to mean opportunity, right? We're seeing opportunity here. And the opportunity we're looking for is oil going to work its way back up north? Are we going to see US oil going back up north? Are we going to see US oil starting to work its way back up to the break right here of $42 a barrel? Now, if you don't understand how the markets work and you don't understand technical analysis, then you want to make notes of price levels. Pay attention to the price levels I'm going to talk to you about today, all right? And then what we'll do is we'll go into some currency pairs that are traded against the Canadian dollar, because remember what I said in the beginning? I said that the Canadian dollar is affected by US oil price. When US oil goes weak, all right, or becomes weak in price, then the Canadian dollar is going to weaken. So which means if you take, for instance, like the pound Canadian, if US dollar weakens, pound Canadian should rally. Euro Canadian should rally. All right. Aussie Canadian should, well, we're expecting it to rally, right? But what we also have is the coronavirus. All right. And the Aussie dollar is affected by what? Affected by the stock market, right? And this, we're talking about the Tokyo stock market. And if we have the Tokyo stock market crashing, which we've had over the last few weeks at the open on Sunday, what happens to Aussie dollar? Aussie is going to be affected. We're going to get New Zealand dollar going to be affected. They're all going to weaken, all right, because there's a lot of exporting that takes place between Australia and China. So when we see all of these taking place, we know how the markets are moving based on the correlation, all right? But today we're going to really focus just on US oil, okay? And the one pair that gets really affected by US oil is the US dollar Canadian, right? So we're going to look at the US dollar Canadian because, like I said to you, the Canadians, they provide almost 2 million barrels a day to the US. Now, when they can't produce at a cheap rate and it's cost them more money to produce oil than it is to sell, what they're going to do is they're going to start reducing their sales. They're not going to produce as much because they're going to stop producing oil because it's costing them money to produce oil. And so if that happens, they're not going to provide the US with US oil. So this is why US oil affects the Canadian dollar, but also affects the US dollar traded against the Canadian dollar. There's going to be an offset between the two. All right. So we're going to take a look at US dollar and the Canadian dollar. We're going to take a look and see how that sets up. But let's do some technical analysis first on US oil, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at what the price looks like on US Canadian. All right. And that's US dollar against the Canadian dollar. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and use simple trend lines. You'll see I'm going to keep it very simple tonight, making sure that you guys understand that we don't have to complicate it. And let me just tell you this much. For a trader that's been trading for almost 30 years, it's a lot of traders look at my technical analysis and say, well, Gary, that is simple stuff. You're making it so simple. It seems so simple when you do it, but yet I feel like it's complicated. But the problem is it's us that make things complicated. Sometimes we take things that are simple and we say, well, it's got to be more complicated than that, right? It just can't be that easy, all right, to trade. But what happens is we actually, as traders and as human beings, we overcomplicate things. We make it work, and we make it more than what it is. You know, it could be in a conversation with your significant other. You know, just a simple thing becomes such a complicated thing that you eventually sit back and say, how did we get here? All right. And trust me, it's been like that with trading too. You know, when you do your technical analysis and you overcomplicate the charts, guess what? You sit back after about 3 hours of watching a chart and trying to figure out what's going on. You go, how did I get here? I've got all this stuff on my charts. It's just making things so confusing. How did I get here? All right. Well, we're going to make sure that you don't get there. All right. We're going to make sure you get to a better place. So this is the deal. So this is the trend line that I've gone ahead and drew in here. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy that trend line. I'm going to draw it down. I'm going to create a channel. And I'm going to look for the next of the significant low. So just like this, check this out. There's the low right here. All right. And it's coming off these two highs right here. Here's the high and there's a high right here. All right. So now that I've connected to that low, take a look what's going on right here. All right. It doesn't take an Einstein to see this. And let me tell you something. You'll be amazed how price moves between these levels. It's called support and resistance using channel lines. All right, write it down. Support and resistance using channel lines. That's it. All right. Now I can go ahead and give you this big long story about I've been trading for almost 30 years, and I just ripped this chart to pieces here. And I've got all the stuff on my charts, and that's because this is what happens when you trade for 30 years. You get all of the stuff in your chart. All I'm showing you right now is just simple stuff. That's all you need. Don't have to complicate it, all right? And trading doesn't have to be complicated. So yeah, we got a channel line, tops and bottoms right here. So now, if price moves from tops to bottoms, and from bottoms to tops, and then from tops to bottoms, what do you think is going to happen right about here? What do you think is going to happen right about here? Well, price is going to move back up to the top. Well, it's going to come up to resistance. Okay. So now we got this new thing I'm going to call, well, it may be new to some of you, but it's not new to me. I've been doing this for a long time, but it's called Fibonacci. When you go ahead and add in these Fibonacci tools that SmartTrader provides for you in the software, these Fibonacci tools help us identify hidden support and resistance levels. All right. And I want you to write down this number right here. Look at $20 a barrel. All right. Let's call it $20, $21 a barrel. All right. Around about here. All right. Mark it down. I want to mark off this big support level right here that price broke through just before, or just over that weekend right there. And that price is around about $42 a barrel. All right. So write that down. You want to write down $42 a barrel, and you want to write 21, let's call it $21, $20 a barrel, in that range. Okay. This is what's going to happen. All right. Price is going to start working its way back down, up. Now, because there's still that price war that's taking place at the moment right now, it's still going to be, this is going to be just a short-term recovery. Then once price hits that short-term recovery resistance level right here, then price is going to be forced back down again. All right. And it's going to go down here to about $21, $20 a barrel. And it's going to find support here. When it finds support there, without knowing about anything around politics, without even looking at the news right here, they are going to figure their stuff out between Russia and, because you cannot have US oil down at those price levels for too long before it gets to a point where someone's going to negotiate. Someone's going to say, I give up, let's go ahead and do business. All right, let's go ahead and stop this insanity and start making money, and we all can make money. And what they're going to do is price is going to start working its way back up. All right. And why am I saying this all? Because this is what the technicals teach us. The technicals teach us what things may happen, or things are going to happen, or may end up happening based on these price action moves, right? And we can identify that by just using simple technical analysis, right? Now you've written down the price levels, $42 a barrel. You wrote down, at least you wrote down $21 to $20 a barrel. You wrote it down, and we're expecting price to move in this region. Now, if price is going to move in this fashion, what can we expect US dollar against the Canadian dollar to do? All right. Well, think about this. If the dollar, or at least if US oil, if US oil gets stronger, which we're expecting US oil to start strengthening, all right? And as it starts strengthening, we're expecting the Canadian dollar to also strengthen. Now, if the Canadian dollar strengthens, what's going to happen to the currency pair? Well, take a look at this. I'm going to write it down. Here's US dollar right here against the Canadian dollar right here, right? So if the Canadian dollar is going to get stronger because US oil is going to get stronger, so this is going to go up, what is the other side of this pair going to do? The other side of the pair means that dollar is going to weaken, dollar is going to go down, right? So you're going to have the shift between dollar weakening, Canadian rallying, all right? And so with this big move that we saw right here, all right, this is a big bearish move on US oil. Take a look and see what happened with the US dollar CAD. Here it is right here. All right, here's US dollar CAD. We saw a big move to the upside. Why? Because the Canadian dollar was weakening because US dollar weakened, and US dollar then strengthened. And so this is why we saw this big move right here. Now let's do the same thing like we did on US oil. US oil is going to do this. Check this out. We're going to go ahead and draw in some nice technical analysis right here. All right. And that took me about 4 years of art class to get this right. I'm just kidding. All right. Didn't take me that long. All right. It was 3 years. It was 3. I'm just kidding. All right. So this is what we do. We're going to go ahead and create a parallel line here, a channel, and we're going to move it up here to the top. And what are we seeing here? We're seeing price coming to what again? We're seeing price coming to resistance. All right. So when market hits resistance here, what are we expecting for the market to do? All right. We're expecting for the market to come back down south. Now it's going to come back down south and find a little bit of support, just like we saw with used oil. So we're going to see a bit of recovery. It's going to find maybe a support level right here. Then it's going to go ahead and start rallying again. Before things start getting worked out, they decide that's it. We're stopping all this price war. And then we're going to start seeing price then move south and maybe even go further down south like this. All right. That's how we're going to see price move. So where does the opportunity come? So all I've done is I've painted this picture for you. All right. And I've identified that, hey, we're at a very key level of support for US oil. And because we're at a very key level of support with US oil, we got to look at the US dollar Canadian and see if we've seen the same thing, which we are. We're seeing price at resistance. All right. And so now what we're expecting is we're expecting the price to move down. So what you should be doing, or at least thinking right now, is any short-term opportunity that offers you a sell to the downside. All right. And we teach here at Market Traders, we teach a lot of different trading strategies. And whether it be a strategy that you use harmonic patterns to look for patterns and say, well, if I find any bearish pattern on my lower time frames, it could be even a 15-minute time frame. If I find any pattern on a 15-minute time frame that looks like something like this, look at this. Yeah, we have a butterfly pattern right here at the top. All right. Now in this strategy, we teach you that when the market goes ahead and moves over here at this level and creates this pattern, we want to go ahead and sell. We want to go ahead and place our stop loss up here to protect our position. And we want to go ahead and look for profit right here at this level right here. That's going to be our take profit level. All right. So when you see these patterns appearing, all right, based on the fact that you have identified that we're expecting this currency pair to start moving to the downside, you want to take on these opportunities. You want to trade these opportunities. Now, let me go ahead and throw out the disclaimer there, all right? Just in case you thought that every trade is going to be working out for you, all right? Let me show you the truth of the matter. Not every trade is going to work out, right? Not every trade that you enter in, not every pattern that you trade is going to work out. But what we do as traders is we look for high probability trades. And what we've done today, we've just taken a very simple concept of taking correlation between US oil and the Canadian dollar, identifying the fundamentals behind it, then gone ahead and taken a technical, very basic, low-level technical analysis, right? And drawn in our technical analysis on a daily time frame, which identifies that we're at a key level where traders should start thinking Canadian dollar is going to start getting a little bit stronger. US oil is going to get a little bit stronger. All right. And with that correlation, we should start looking at things like US dollar Canadian and start thinking about selling US dollar Canadian and profit from that sell. And this is what we do. We look for patterns. You may not, and listen here, if it's patterns that you're trading, if it's harmonic patterns like we're trading like this, and this is your style of trading, then fine, that's your style of trading, use that. I'm not going to just box you into just using this tool, because at Market Traders, we not only teach you how to be able to trade these harmonic patterns and how we can show you how this will be automated and how to be able to use the automation around that, but what we teach is other ways to trade the market, other strategies, all right? And it could be a trend trading strategy. It could be a scalping strategy, all right? And we could teach you all these good things about how to use these different strategies, and you can apply it to the overall directional bias that we've identified. So when you know the direction to trade, when you know and identified how to be able to, or see at least which direction to trade, then it's going to come down to what strategy I want to trade. And if you've got 5 strategies in your bag of tools, right? You've got 5 strategies. You can decide, tonight I'm going to be a scalper. Tomorrow I'm going to be a trend trader. And the reason why you're making those decisions is not because you just feel good tonight and I'm just going to be a scalper tonight. It's because you're an educated trader, right? You know what to do because you understand the conditions. And so I'll come back to Why is this partnership between market traders and ByDzyne? Because we are passionate about educating traders just like you and me, right? We're passionate about making sure that when you get involved in this market, you have the right education, you have the right tools, so that you have the highest probability to be successful in trading. And I like to say, there's an old saying, right? You can take a horse to the water, but you cannot force it to drink, right? And the same thing here. We can show you where all these places are to get this information. We can provide you with all the education and provide you with all the tools. But if you're not going to go through the education and not get yourself educated, and you go ahead and you trade this market and you're not successful, then the only person that you should look back at is yourself and say, hey, man, I had this great opportunity. ByDzyne and market traders came and partnered together because they had an interest in sharing with, or at least they had something that was sharing with us that was so valuable, but I never took the opportunity, right? But that's not going to be you tonight. It's not going to be you tomorrow or whenever you make that decision. When you make the decision to become a partner in, or at least when you become connected with ByDzyne and market traders, you are going to be coming together with a group of people, group of traders that have your best interest at heart. Because everything that we've done here, all this technical analysis, everything that we're providing you is going to give you the best opportunity to be successful. And if you learned something from what I did just today, if you learned a little bit of what I just showed you today, all right, I'm telling you now, this is just a small portion of what you're going to get involved in. All right, listen here. I've been trading for closer to 30 years right now. The reason why I still do it, all right, I have a huge passion to educate people and help people to trade. I trade myself, as Chad mentioned. I trade for myself. I trade for other people. I trade. I run YouTube channels with free sessions that I talk about the market. We trade. I educate people. I just love this market. It's absolutely a market that, you know, I've never turned around and said I regret getting involved 30 years ago. It's been something that I'm completely passionate about, and it's because every day is new. Every weekend that the markets open up, you've seen something different happening. I mean, we've had Brexit, we've had flash crashes on Swiss franc unpegging against the euro. We've had trade wars in last year. We've had the market with the JPY flash crash just recently when Tokyo market went ahead and fell. We're getting so much volatility in the market. And although the stock market is plummeting, we've seen the Dow Jones drop 2,000 points in a day. We've seen the Tokyo market drop 5% in seconds. Although people are panicking and running all directions because the stock market is doing what it's doing, the most comforting thing about what we do here and trading currencies is that we can trade both directions. All right. And no currency is going to just go in one direction and not have some sort of volatility, because it's always traded against another currency. So you got one currency against another currency, and they're constantly battling for control in the market. And because of that, because we are dealing with that, it's easier for us to be able to make money, unlike the stock market, where when the market crashes, everyone's running for safe haven. And why the currencies move so much when the stock market starts crashing is because everyone's taking their stocks and the investments out of the higher risk vehicles and putting them back in the bank that is either in a US based trading account, or US based bank, or they say JPY bank, or a euro bank. And so when you move your money out of this and you move it back into that currency, then obviously the currency start moving quite rapidly. And that's what we're seeing right now. So this is a great time to get involved in this market. And it is absolutely the most perfect time to start learning how the markets move. Because why? Because we're heading into the summer. And heading into the summer, we're going to get some volatility because markets are thinning out a little bit. But what tends to happen in the summer is we tend to get a little bit of news that comes out that tends to push the market in direction. So you want to learn how to be able to do trend trading, understand the trends, understand support and resistance, because once we get into this summer period, all right, you want to be ready to rock and roll. All right, so well, listen here. I've said a lot today. Hopefully you've learned a little bit from what I did. Again, these sessions are valuable to me, and it's important that you learn something each and every time that I come around and share with you. I absolutely love doing this session. So Chad, I want to just thank you once again for allowing me to be part of this and to be able to share a little bit of knowledge that I have with everyone else and educate them on how the market moves.
Well, Gary, thank you so much for this training session. Everyone on Facebook Live, everyone that's on our Zoom right now, why don't you send some love, send some message for Gary. He is in the East Coast right now, so it's nearly 10 p.m., but he always gives us his time to help us win here in SMA and ByDzyne. So guys, for all our guests that's on today, guys, I just really want to give it out here, give you some more information, give it out to Mr. Gary Fichardt. He's the Director of Training at MTI. Every trader has a nickname. FXBigDog is his name. If you Google him or if you go look on YouTube, you will find Mr. FXBigDog. Like I said, started in the Forex markets in '95. You know, he studied with top name bank traders, managed millions of dollars for corporate and private investors. You know, Mr. Gary has, you know, oversaw 64 professionals, like I said in the beginning. And all I want to say is that he has experience. He is a professional in the Forex industry. And the vision of ByDzyne, guys, that we are an ever evolving, always relevant company in multiple verticals. We are in 5 verticals right now, more verticals coming in the next 30 days. Yes, you heard it first. In the next 30 days, more verticals coming out, guys. And tonight, you might get some tips. I don't know. But in our quadrant, we got train and make money, travel and save money, tech to enhance your lifestyle, and transform to create a legacy. So today you did the training about Forex market. Next week, we have Dr. Sharma coming back on Monday. The week after, I don't know, but we are going to rotate within our industry specialist partners. So you're not learning from an amateur like myself. For this vertical, you're learning from the best of the best. So why the Forex market, guys? For our guest that's on here tonight, if you don't know, it is massive. $6.6 trillion a day traded. It's open 24 hours, 5.5 days a week. It is for all age group. If you post something about Forex market in social media, you get 3 times more engagement on social media than any other post. Get in and out of trades quickly, and you have the expert. So I want to give a tip out there, and even Gary said that today. Do not put a shortcut on the shortcut. SMA is your shortcut. You can go in there, go through the 3 sections about our mentorship, education, and software. Last night, I was on a Zoom with a leader in ByDzyne, and you know what? I had to show him where the mentorship was. Don't try to get a shortcut from the shortcut. Don't ask an amateur how to become a professional. Guys, write this down. Do not ask an amateur on tips to become a professional. Like I said, if you're looking, who in Zoom today wants to have a bigger house? Fiorella, do you want to have a nicer house? Do you want to have a bigger bank account? I can see Jack on. Do you want to have a bigger house, a bigger bank account? Well, if your answer is yes, don't ask your neighbor, because if you ask your neighbor how to get a bigger house, you're going to stay in the same neighborhood. Nattida and I, we always go to the neighborhood we want to live in, and we ask them for advice, because if someone owns a mansion and give it advice, guess what? It gets you close to the mansion. If someone owns you an apartment and you ask them for advice, guess what? You're going to be in an apartment. So that goes same here. For our Smart Market Academy, 3 parts. Most people think there's only 1, but it's 3 parts. Our mentorship, our education and software, all the credibility about our Forex product is with MTI. You can see that this is their 26th year. They've been in Inc. magazine, fastest growing private company in the US 4 times, multiple books you can find on Amazon. Their mentorship is on every single day, 2 hours per week for the FX chief. He's the guru of gurus. 6 hours per week for advanced strategies with Gary that you saw today. and every single day, over 4 hours of live mentorship. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a leader right now guiding your people in Forex, stop, because you are not the expert. The expert is SMA. If you are a leader in ByDzyne, what is your goal? Your goal is to build the business and know that the product that you're giving your customers is the best of the best, and they can engage with MTI through the training and the mentorship that you see right here. Education. The Forex courses is the best of the best. Go in there, go through the course. Like I said, we are giving you the shortcut. So don't shortcut the shortcut. Learn all through education. A lot of people ask me, how does a harmonic trader work? Can you teach me? I said, I'm not the professional. I went through the course. So just go through the course. We have the course there for you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't shortcut the shortcut. 3, the software. Guys, third thing I talked about is the software. The mentorship and education is a key foundation so that when you go to the software, you have some knowledge. Like I said, you need to make sure you go to first 2 under software. The great thing about the software with our SmartTrader, it is created through the owners of MTI, the Harmonic scanner, which scans the market for you to let you know what patterns there is. And if you like, you can use a SmartScript to get in and out of those patterns, but you need to understand how you're driving the vehicle. Like, for example, you have an automatic car, which is awesome, but you still need to know the rules of the street, like the red light, the green light, and the amber light, and the stop signs. So ladies and gentlemen, for all our guests today, I want to share with you, here in ByDzyne, not only do we have a Forex product to help you increase your financial IQ, we are partnered with the best of the best. We are giving you the shortest shortcut to increase your financial stability, especially now with the coronavirus. A lot of you are at home. Take the time to go through the course, because I guarantee you, if you learn from an amateur, you're going to get amateur results. If you learn from a professional, you're going to get professional results. And we have the ability, the mentorship, and the education course that has been around with the company for 26 years. Like me, I'm 26 right now, right? So it's been a lot around as old as I am. Gary, hey, don't look too shocked, but just kidding. I'm not 26, but the product's amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause to Mr. Gary Fichardt. Everyone on Facebook Live is dropping big love signs to you on Zoom as well. Thank you so much, Gary, for being on. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to end this session and come back in about 5 minutes with our Monday update call. And with that being said, let's see if Gary remembers. My name is Chad.
My name is Gary. And
we live our lives
by
design.
design.
See you guys. See you in a few minutes. Bye.